All right, we are live. Picture. What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome to another episode of Aussies Taking Over the NBA. We are wrapping the conference semi-finals, aka the end of the process.
Yeah,
that's it. The process has come to a dramatic climax with the first ever buzzer beater in a Game 7 series in the NBA history. Yes.
Wow. Dropping some knowledge.
Dropping some knowledge bombs. Yes, Kawhi's was the first that made history. First Game 7 buzzer beater.
Because Lillard's was, that was a Game 6 or a Game 5?
Game 5.
Yeah, so that was a pretty good buzzer beater. But yeah, that's a bad shot, man.
Look, it was a travel, firstly.
Travel.
5 steps to get the ball on the floor from inbound. Travel. When the referees look at that, it's quite clearly a travel.
Yeah, and then Embiid's contest was perfect. I thought it was like you couldn't have done any more.
You couldn't have done any more. It was a Hail Mary shot, and it dropped after hitting him about 5 times.
Kind of heartbreaking to go out like that, I think.
It is heartbreaking to go like that. And obviously the Sixers have got a big off season, a lot of things happening, a lot of...
Did they re-sign Brett Brown? I think they did.
They didn't re-sign Brett Brown, but he was not fired. So he already had 3 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
So,
I think it was last year he re-signed, didn't he?
He re-signed last year, 4-year contract. He still owed another $15 million.
You will not be fired.
Yeah. Well, apparently he knew going into the Toronto series his job was safe. I think in the back ends, everyone's like, oh, Brett Brown is a shit coach. Well... You know what? Here's the process. He kind of culminated the idea. He took over.
Did a little bit of GM stuff as well. Yeah.
Did smart moves. I think they've got Elton Brand, who seems to be a pretty savvy GM. In the offseason, I think they need to re-sign Jimmy Butler to the max. I think that needs to happen. And obviously Ben Simmons, re-sign him to the max.
Yeah, well, he's eligible for a 150 max, isn't he?
Yes, 5-year
rookie something or other.
154 max.
Probably should have researched that, but I didn't. I just read it. Olgun Aluch did it.
It's the Andrew Wiggins contract.
Yeah, 4 years, 150. I think from memory. My memory's a bit fuzzy at the moment with a newborn. It's a big call, man. Like it's they love Ben Simmons, and you could tell they love Ben Simmons. Yet, in a business sense, it's still a big decision I think to make.
Look, they've done the process. They've given away all their picks. They have nothing left. They can't rebuild. They can only trade. So do you sign him to the rookie extension and then trade him?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Or do you trade Embiid? That's the other question. Do you trade Embiid?
And how well did the Tobias Harris trade go? Really?
Pretty poorly. You have to look at it. You have to look at what you were trading away. You were trading away a shooter in Shamet. I think for the regular season it went well. I think Tobias Harris went missing in the postseason, most of the postseason.
Well, how many playoffs has he been to, really?
Not many.
I don't think he has been to many. I think that might have actually been his first playoffs.
Yeah.
And it takes a couple of seasons, but the level of signing that he would be for the franchise, it's too important to just put in there and go, yeah, okay, re-sign him. That's all good. Sweet. No worries. I don't know if you could drop that money on Butler and go, Butler has a pedigree and a history. He has the right mentality, but obviously Tobias Harris' first playoffs, what he showed us isn't necessarily something you just go, right, drop the money, we're in, no worries.
No,
I kind of go...
He's kind of a KD style signing. You go to him, right, we want to go around again. We want to go around to...
Or we've got some years to wait for this to develop. But I don't know if Philly does.
I don't think they do. I think it's very much that signing. Is Jimmy Butler's going to get the max. We know that he's going to get offered the max. Do we say to Harris, right, we're happy to give you a $1 million $20. 1 year, $20 million. $20. A 1 year, $20 million. Let's go around again. Let's get you guys 82 games together.
It's Butler, yeah?
No, this is Harris.
This is Harris. I don't know if you can't. I don't think you can go all in on that. What you just saw, unless you were a franchise that wasn't at the level that Philly's at. Like Philly's at like a 6 out of 10, ready to make it a 7, 8, possibly go to the finals. If your team was a 4 out of 10 coming into the 8th seed, and your guy was Harris, and you'd re-sign Harris, yeah, you'd go, okay, yep, no worries. But you got Butler, Embiid, Simmons, this. Redick maybe even re-signing. There's too many other things.
You re-sign Redick. Redick's 35. He's not going to get another $12 million next season. He's probably going down to 7 or 8. So you've got another 5 in the cap. Boban's off contract next year, so I think he is guaranteed this year at 11 mil.
There's too many things though. I just feel like Harris. You took a gamble on. Hopefully, Harris might come up big in these playoffs. First time. Let's see what he can do. He didn't. He was all right, not great. I don't think there was enough to just go, yep, throw the money down, like, sweet, Harris is our guy.
Yeah.
We're going to work with him for the next few years, because you're running a risk that he just does the same thing possibly next year.
Yeah.
The only other thing is, systematically, it probably fits all right enough to go, yeah, no worries. But I don't feel like Philly has this sense of, we're building and making the conference semis is great for us. It feels like, no, we want to try and at least make the finals or the conference finals. We want to go as far as we can, and building something isn't what this franchise is really doing. It's not like we got time to just work on this guy and have 2 years of where he might be the guy, he might not be the guy.
No.
Like, it feels like Embiid's the guy, Simmons is the guy, Butler's ready to be the guy, but Harris is like that outside. Like,
he's that outside that you'd be happy to spend
really?
10 or 12 million on, but do you really sign to some sort of max deal or close to max deal? He's not an all-star. He's not really someone that is going to challenge in a postseason. So we know that he's not really a postseason guy. Do we let him go? You made a play. You made a play. You got rid of Shamet, who was probably one of the best shooting potentials out of last year's draft. Young guy. Look, you got Zaire Smith coming back as well, playing a bit, in the late season. Obviously, we didn't see any of him postseason. You got Bolden at the 4, who's dirt cheap. What do you do? These are the questions. Do you wait till someone's in free agency and snap up a vet in the power forward position?
Yeah, they're really...
Or do you sign a point guard and move Simmons to 4?
I don't know. Like, I think you have to have Simmons shooting this season. Like, this season coming up, you have to just go to Simmons 7 to 10 jumpers a night. I don't care what it is.
Yeah,
7 to 10. Like, it feels like they're rushing. Like, the Harris thing has a flow-on effect where it's like we're rushing to get somewhere with this, and really, it's Ben Simmons could just go to his shit team and shoot jumpers and be shit, and it wouldn't matter. But for Philly, it's like, oh, well, I've got other guys to run offense, so I don't need to shoot jumpers here.
No.
Whatever. But I feel like it still has to be, dude, you have to just shoot some jumpers, bro. Like 7 to 10 a night. Yeah. Who cares whether they go down or not? But I feel like it's too far in. They're too far in the hole of this whole thing where people are going, he doesn't shoot jumpers at all. It's rubbish. You know what I mean? Like, it's the Fultz thing again. Like, you've just got to go and get it out of there and just go, right, shoot some jumpers. Shut up, shoot jumpers.
Yeah.
And people eventually will just go, oh, yeah, now he shoots jumpers. How good's that? Sweet. It's better. Whereas, like, the Fultz thing...
They are... Well, I mean, with Ben Simmons, he is a jump shot away of the finals. If he develops any kind of...
I think a better fit. As good a fit he is, I think he's a jump shot away from being a better fit. Spacing-wise, but he's a jump shot away. If he can... He puts 25 points a night with no jump shot. You go to 35 points a night, regular season, 22, 23 in the postseason. You're talking conference finals, even without a Tobias Harris. Yeah.
Because Mike Scott's not a bad player. Let's be real. He's not a terrible player. They re-signed James Ennis, who's not actually a bad wing 4, and a versatile wing 3-4. These guys aren't expensive. Mike Scott's at $5 million. Ennis is a $2 million, $3 million guy. That's pretty good players. I think they've shown themselves to be postseason players in at least a roundabout way, and potentially developing that game. You've got Bolden, who's a good backup forward that can shoot the 3 ball, which is what you need in a team, and shown that he can play on the 4 with Embiid, because he's not a post player. He's not going to crowd the post, but he's also a good weak side blocker. So you've got that double rim protection in Bolden and Embiid. Yeah. Bolden needs to develop his smarts more than his skills, I think, next year. Very easy to foul. Gets torched a little bit in the post from some moves. Just needs to be that smart. The one thing about Ben Simmons' game that we can all agree on is that from a defense perspective...
Oh, he was excellent.
You couldn't have defended Kawhi any better.
I think so. And there were some people that were just like, yeah, but it's not good enough. It's rubbish. Like, look, he's still playing really well. But to me, it's like, I don't care how good or bad he is defending Kawhi. The fact that he's just having a mad crack at it, and he did as good as he did, in my opinion, it's like perfect. Like I don't care
Kawhi was
whether he's
like,
perfect.
Kawhi was like 4 of 20 when Simmons guarded him in the final game. What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this guy's shooting 41 points. He put up 33 shots for 41 points.
And then what does he like? Take 45 shots?
Yeah,
if he has to. Like, yeah, we should talk about more the games.
Let's talk about the series.
Game 5 was the one they dropped. No, it was a game 4, the one they dropped.
Game 5 is the one that Philly turded, and I felt like there was a turd in there. Embiid was sick, and I think that it was a mistake to play him at home when he was that crook, because...
Or Game 6 you're talking about?
Game 5. No, Game 4. Game 4.
Game 5 was in Canada.
Yeah, Game 5 he was sick. He had the flu. I think they should have gone back to that Brooklyn-style lineup, playing Simmons as a 1-5 hybrid. Ennis at the 3, Jimmy at the 2, secondary ball handler. I think they should have gone down that route and just taken Embiid off the floor, because he was a liability from an offensive perspective. I think he did very well defensively, but liability from an offensive perspective. So they turned it out, and you can see after about 3 quarters they checked out. They knew it was done. Come back to Game 6. Oh yeah,
in Game 4, because they
Game 5.
only
Game
lost
5.
by 5.
No,
Yeah,
Game
it was
5.
the blowout. Was the Game
blowout,
5?
yeah.
It never felt like in this series like a blowout was on. Like that, even that game didn't feel like, oh, this is just an old fashioned. This team's better, and they're going to blow you out. Like it felt like Philly kind of just dropped the ball and said, whatever, let's go back home and try. And win.
Pretty much. Let's take this Game 7, and then you come out Game 6, and it's a completely different game.
Yeah, I think Philly at home, maybe if they had home court advantage.
They have home court advantage. Look, Embiid's healthy, they win that series. Home court advantage, they win that series. That's without a doubt in my mind.
But how healthy is Joel Embiid going to be, really? You know what I mean? Like it's a big thing.
It wasn't
to
a knee
bank
thing.
on.
It was a stomach virus followed by flu.
Yeah, how does he get flu like that?
Mate,
quarantine him. Put him in a bubble, man. Don't let him leave.
End of a long season, mate. You're on planes. You're doing things at airports.
Yeah.
It just happens, unfortunately. So,
it sucks. I was thinking about that, like how fine the lines are now in the NBA. Like the top level is so high that the lines are so fine on sickness, and how you just have a slightly off night and it's all over. Like Curry in their series have a slightly bad series and suddenly like it's all over. Like, you know, you're not winning games. And then Joel Embiid obviously getting a bit sick in this series, and last year he had that mask thing. You know, like it's these fine lines, man, that really separate how good some of these guys are. But it sucks. Like getting sick is shit. Like that's a shit thing to happen.
He was coughing. Like he was audibly coughing on court.
There was like a slow-mo of him coughing. I was like, oh, I don't want to see that.
So obviously he was quite crook, and I think healthy Embiid, they win that series. Home court advantage, they win that series, and they go on to play the Bucks. The Bucks will romp the Raptors.
You reckon they'll smash them?
They'll smash them.
Yeah.
The Bucks bench depth is far superior, and having a good season, good postseason compared to the Raptors, which at times Van Fleet is pretty much useless.
I'm surprised they didn't go to Ben Simmons on Van Fleet more, man.
I'm surprised they didn't go TJ on Van Fleet.
Yeah? Did TJ play that many minutes
He
in this
played
series?
no minutes in the series.
None at all.
None.
He played 22 minutes.
Oh, sorry, he played trash minutes.
Yeah,
he played no non-garbage time. So
25% from the field. But then, like, Tobias Harris played the most minutes in this series, 267 minutes. How much did that just feel like, oh, yeah, he played in a series and didn't really do much.
No.
Yet he played the most. Like, that's crazy.
Well, that's really saying that he's not a $20 million player.
I think so. Only shot 27% from three. And 38% from the field. Like they're not great enough. I think first time. I'm pretty sure it's his first time in the playoffs. Like I'll double check that, but it showed you that you're not ready. And for Philly, they don't need you're not ready. You'll be ready in 3 years. They don't need that. They need you. We're ready now. In the next 3 or 4 years, we want to try and.
Well,
win
that's
a
what I mean.
championship.
Does Harris go? All right, I really believe what's happening in Philly. I'm going to take a 2-year, $34 million deal because I know the process is going to continue and we'll get somewhere this year playing with Ben Simmons with a jump shot, Embiid that's semi-healthy, Butler who's now signed the max and is happy and wants to stay. Do they start something? Is that something? Reddick, who potentially will take a pay cut. I don't think Reddick's going anywhere, to be honest with you. I wouldn't get rid of Reddick. He's still shown that he's a valuable veteran. And if they draft any shooters, you just bring them in under his wing straight away. But we can go to Game 7, which was... It was trash. It was a terrible game.
Out really bad. I think it was like...
I think there were none from the first 11 shots. It was just Brick City for the first quarter. Bit of nerves, both sides of the field.
I think it was like 8 all with 6 minutes gone or something. Like it was
terrible. Butler had some big play down the line. Simmons didn't take the fourth quarter on merit. I think that he just went, okay, my job is to defend and to give the ball to Jimmy Butler. And Butler did really well. A couple of good steals, good 3-point, got them back in the game, got them level. And then obviously Hail Mary kind of sent them. Yeah. I thought that if it was going into overtime, then it would have been a Philly win. But
it would have been a lot better to see that go into everyone goes, oh, that's a great what a moment, iconic moment, things like that. To me, it's like it was not the greatest shot. It was just a bit of a chuck, a high leverage situation chuck, like they're playing with house money type thing, and it's like, I'd rather them just run away with it in overtime, to get some buckets at the end, and that's it. They win the game. I'd prefer that than that kind of just sort of chalky jumper. Unless he set someone up, faked someone out, rose up, and just hit a jump shot like McCollum's game winner, basically, or game sealer in their series, something like that, where you're just like, okay, mano in mano, 1-on-1, steps up and hits a jumper in someone's eye. Fair enough. I just felt like that was just a bit of a crusher type play. I hope the 76ers don't go, oh, they've crushed our hearts. A few of them are crying. It's understandable.
Embiid crying was a little bit funny.
Yeah. You can't look at that and go, oh, this sucks. You've got to look at that and just go, all right, it took that to beat us. Let's go next year. We've got some fuel for next year. You've got to look at this, turn it around, and make sure you use this as fuel for next season.
That more says to me that Embiid's not mentally ready yet.
Yeah, because he cried. Nah.
Because he had that reaction of, oh shit, we're not going to get this opportunity again. That to me is
that what he said?
No, well, this is the crying. The difference is, you're right. If Butler's got the contract, Harris is there for 2 years, it's all, and crying, it's just it's the combination of the season. But for me, when there's such an off season to be had, at the end of the off season, we could just have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and a whole bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
And the process ends, really.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was to me the emotional combination of, I don't know where the future of this team is going versus, okay, we worked really hard this year. It's kind of it's over. That
maybe kind of like a Celtics chemistry thing, you reckon?
Yeah.
We're not really as tight-knit as we thought we were in the big moment. And I feel like that's something like that should draw a team together to be like, right, fuck it, let's go. But I guess not every team and not every player has that mentality to just take punches and then just get up and be like, whatever. I'll take more punches.
Yeah.
And that was, a pretty big blow to see that game. Like I said, if they'd just run a rack in overtime and then that was it, you just kind of go, oh, well, fuck, we couldn't do it. But to lose like that, it's a bit rough. See, it was 14-9 with 2 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It was missing shots galore. I think Toronto went a little bit of a run. Philly kind of was up a little bit as well near halftime. Third quarter, the pace in this game was a bit weird. It was like Toronto didn't have any faith in anyone else. They were just like, I don't know, man, just ask Kawhi. Just see what Kawhi wants to do, and then if you need to give the ball to me, give it to me. Yeah. No worries. Whereas Philly had shit that they were doing, they were running, some of it wasn't working, some of it worked. They could go to Jimmy Butler when things break down. I'm not a big fan of Simmons will give the ball up early in the shot clock and then kind of just stand in near the paint.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, swing it around, come back out, something, stop getting in people's way. And I notice he's starting to do that a little bit more, but I don't think it's his, it's not a naturalized thing that he's just doing. Because it kind of feels like in pickup where someone's really crap, like me, who's like undersized and just like, I'm pretty crap with the ball in my hands. I'm just going to go stand near the rim and kind of try and play center because that's about all I can do. I'm not quick enough to play as a guard. But he has the tools to play everywhere if he just develops that jump shot. And somebody goes, right, you stay right there after you either shoot a jump shot or if you hand off the ball because you know everyone's going to collapse and give you a jumper.
Yeah.
But there's even going to be a learning curve to that because a lot of teams are just going to be like, shoot that jumper. Go on, let's see it. Oh, you missed. Nice one. And it's going to be a strategy for teams. Like
it is.
If you look at Draymond Green, it was the same. Like at the end of the season, people just leaving daring him to shoot. And then suddenly at the start of the playoffs, he's making them. And it's like, oh, fuck, now we've got to guard him again. Shit. But it only takes a couple of games for that.
Yeah.
Like really. And in the minds of people who like the media people who blast all this shit, like he's just going to shoot jumpers.
Yeah,
like,
but it's not even shooting jumpers to down buckets. It's shooting jumpers to open up lanes so that a guard who you're going to blow blast every time and can dunk over, if you can shoot a jumper at 50%, you know that, all right, they come out to guard you, you're going to easily get the layup. That's an 80% effort, right? Yeah. And so that you've either getting a 50% shot or you're definitely getting a bucket. And so your field goal percentage goes up even higher. I mean, you look at his percentages in this playoff series, they're not bad. Overall, 62%.
60%, yeah. 36 of 60, but a lot of those would have come at the rack.
Yeah. Terrible free throw percentage, 33%. Oof.
It says here 56 on B-Ball Ref, but
for the series against.
For the series, it says 56 for me here. It's 9 out of 16.
ESPN,
ESPN. Poopa ESPN.
Poopa ESPN.
B-Ball Ref's where it's at, peeps.
Yeah, okay.
But it's you're right. It's the misdirection too. Like no one's gonna buy it on a pump fake from him yet. No. Like it's gonna take half a season for people to just buy it on that shot, and that's gonna open up running proper pick and roll with Joel Embiid, where he gets the ball back, or Joel pops because Joel's 3-point shooting just fell off a cliff in that series. 34. They were daring him to shoot a little bit. I think he ended up 9 of 26. I always felt at the start of this season like, yeah, I'm happy for him to shoot threes. Yeah, no worries. But kind of towards the end of the season, I was like, oh, I'm not hanging with that 3 ball. That 3 ball's kind of has to go back in the pocket a little bit.
This is what Brett Brown said in his end of season conference is if you make Joel go from post to post, he can only play 25 minutes a night. That's really what it is. Do you want him to go post to post? How important is he on the defensive end to be able to shoot the 3 ball at a 30% or 28% rate, right?
14 blocks in this series, not too bad.
That's the thing.
28 turnovers though, jeez.
Yeah, one game he was just turd.
Yeah, I think he had like at about 9 in one game or 7 or 8 in one game.
But
you're right, like the fitness thing is a problem. But how do you mitigate that? I guess you get a second center who can stay on the court.
Yeah.
It still feels like they can't run action with Simmons that might allow him to just rest a little bit on plays. Like it kind of still feels like he's got to be involved in everything. He's got to get touches. He's got to get on the post and do things. Then he's got to run back down court and defend. Like I'm looking at it, trying to work out how to mitigate how much he needs to be on the court. But at the same time, he's the superstar too. Like he has to be on the court.
Like it's either play 40 minutes a night. That's the thing. So
it's either he works on his conditioning, which I don't know how much more you can work on his.
No, he's 7'2". What do you do?
It's crazy. Like it really is. And at the end of a long season, I don't know. Do you do what Kawhi did and sit? Like, even Kawhi in this series looked sometimes like he was blowing. You got to be one of the fittest guys in the league. You've played half a season basically, and even he looked like rat shit at
because I mean it's different from it's when every single player rolls through you. You're putting up half the team's points a night. You're going to be tired.
Yeah.
And he's not a Steph Curry that can just walk halfway down the court and pull up from everywhere. He plays
and
handles that ball
offense
super intensely to get past or free or in the range or to the lane or it's just gassing and taxing. That, for my mind, is why the Raptors are going to absolutely trounce this series. Giannis can just destroy him.
So if you look at this, 243 points in the series, 34.7 points a game. Then Siakam had 136, which is second, and then Lowry 92, which was third. Marc Gasol 60, fourth. So a lot of it was Kawhi, man.
It was all Kawhi. It was Kawhi featuring a bunch of bums.
As much as you can go, Kawhi still feasted on Simmons. you still have to go, man, tip your hat to
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, because what he showed was, wow, there's a player here who can defend, and he got some reps, he got some chops on one of the best offensive players I think that's been playing in this playoff so far.
Yes, definitely.
It really is the next evolution, man. He has to shoot those jumpers. He has to space the floor.
He
Stop
has- yeah, he-
loitering in the paint. Like,
Shoot jumpers, put up 1 or 2 threes a night, and get his free throw percentage up above 65%. Because as a guard, you're supposed to be getting to the line pretty exclusively. If you're 6'10" guard, you should be getting to the line.
You want to be trying to get to the
times
line.
a night.
And you're getting fouled too. Like, he was getting fouled a little bit in that series, like fouling him. Like, foul, don't even try and shoot, because the better chance is
You'll miss.
sending him to the line.
Yep.
And that's going to keep increasing in the play, and it
Yep.
increases in the playoffs, and it's going to keep increasing over the course of the season in general if teams want to nullify him. But I still think this Philly team, if they make a couple of moves, it would have been better if this team still had Covington and Shamet
Yes.
instead of maybe like a Mike Scott and
Look, I don't mind
Simmons.
Mike Scott, to be honest with you. Mike Scott has not. He's kind of a chub body. He's not skinny, and so he can fill a lane pretty well. But if we look down at the roster, kind of Tobias Harris is on 15 mil. We'll go to Joel Embiid, obviously 25.
I think he's unrestricted though, isn't he?
He is unrestricted. But you look, you go down the list. Boban's on 7, TJ 1.6. There's nothing. JJ's the next big one, and then Mike's got 4 mil. Jonathan Simmons is the other turd, 6 mil. And Zaire, obviously, we haven't seen anything of Zaire, but he's only 19. Huge upside. I really want to see a lot more of Zaire Smith next season. Hopefully he gets into the Summer League and we see a bit of him in Summer League. But
So, yeah, big decisions, man. I think
big decisions this year because we can't keep them all.
the other thing, too, it sucks that they made really big decisions. Like, some teams, they draft into or they bring in talent, and the talent goes from like in the side door and then grows and becomes really good.
Yeah.
Because it feels like this Philly team has like had to just sledgehammer huge parts of the roster, and then okay, we brought in someone mad, like sledgehammer this, we'll bring in someone like. Eventually, your roster kind of gets to a point where it's got sort of like the Warriors is probably the best example of like you've moved so much shit that the rest of your stuff is just garbage. Like it's so top heavy that it's not going to really work. And if you kind of match that up against the process, it's kind of come roundabout in a weird way. Like the process was all these years of tanking and acquiring picks to then kind of just smash your franchise apart. Anyway,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know how much more of that the franchise can really take, but I think it's going to be really important this off season if they can get like 2 other guys that are dependable in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And really raise the game. But, you know, it'll be good to see Simmons hopefully re-signs. And, yeah, it sucks. I didn't want to see Simmons go out, but, you know, what can you do, I guess?
What can you do? Let's move on to the next series.
Yeah.
Get out that salt. Get out
What salt?
The salt for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, I don't know salt anymore. They went through. They've gone through, so I'm happy, man. That was just the weight off the shoulders after that series.
That was a Clay and Curry special. That last game 6. I have
So
to say.
intense. Durant, I think he's out for the season. Like I've seen the Warriors do this sort of thing before, where they kind of go, no, it's all right. Yep, no, it's good. And then after several press conferences, you get conflicting information. Like it's like they want to just go, no, he's done. Like that's it. He won't be back this season. But they're trying to mitigate it through the media that they don't want to say it. Like it becomes a cat and mouse game.
Well, I think it becomes a
they wanna-
psychological game as well. Is that maybe?
Oh, he's going to be back. Shit, we
Portland
might have
left.
to plan for that. Yeah.
Portland won't make it through.
They're trying to milk that. Yeah, well, they played obviously today. We won't spoil that. We'll cover that on the next episode. But for Durant to go down, like I was not expecting this. Like Curry didn't have a great series, and it's understandable why, because of that. You know, Houston Chubb, they switch a lot. They know they can just toss it to Durant.
Yeah.
And go, just get us out of a hole, no worries. And I think Curry's the kind of leader that'll settle for that. Like, he's my guy. And then if Draymond Green has to be my guy, he's my guy as well. I'll trust anyone on this team to make a shot. Sometimes that's to the detriment of the team. Sometimes it happens. He wasn't playing that well. And then finally gets a chance with no Durant. Like, did I tell you it's the best thing that could have happened to the team, or the worst thing that could have happened to the team?
Everyone forgets they won a championship with this team.
Well, yeah, pretty similar team.
Pretty much. It was Bogut.
I think the 2015 role players were probably better
Probably a little bit
they
better.
were more veteran.
Iggy. I mean, David West was a good role player.
Iggy was just ridiculous. Played out of his mind, man. Defensively, like
so
even Draymond.
Higher three percentage than free throw percentage in that series.
Yeah.
How ridiculous is that?
He can't shoot free throws. It's so weird that he'll get fouled and go to the line, and you're just like, yeah, we'll brick these. Like, that's a good foul.
42%, I think, from the line and 47% from three. On a decent number of attempts.
It's so unexplainable. I'll find it. I've got it here somewhere. Where have I got it? Series summary. But it's like he gets fouled and everyone's like, whoa, he got fouled, get to the line. And you're just
he's going to miss it.
He's going to brick it. Like, Draymond Green was just phenomenal in this series. Like, we watched that Houston Jazz series. Rudy Gobert couldn't contain Capella. How does a 6'6" dude contain Capella? Like, I don't understand. Like, you watch the level of help, yet on ball, yet I'm helping two guys at the same time. Like, the level of defensive, like, masterminding you have to watch in this series and just appreciate from Draymond. Like, I know you're not his biggest fan.
Oh, I just think he's a great defender. He just makes dumb decisions. He gets a little bit mouthy, and it gets caught the technicals at wrong times.
It's understandable, but he's the only guy that cops some of that shit sometimes. Where, how much of the Rockets whinging did you witness in that series? Just
heads thrown back
and antics, and every time they went to the hoop, like, come on, like, what are you doing? Like,
I have to say, the only one that doesn't do that is Clint Capella.
Yeah, Capella, like, is a top notch dude, and he had a fantastic season as well. It's just. And I think he's playing through some, like, a virus or something, adenovirus, that shit that you had, or some one of the 70,000 strains of fucking adenovirus or some shit. So that's understandable too, but I still think that where his verticality works for Houston, because of the ability of Draymond and Iggy to team and scheme defend as well as Clay, they were able to nullify that really easly because it became less about his verticality and his ability to finish plays, and more about the team. Like, it took the Jazz 4 games to work that out. Yeah. Like, it was only that game they won where they were boxing Capella out really early. Rubio would come on the weak side, get in front of him, and make sure he couldn't just return to that dunker spot and just dunk off of hardened drives. Whereas in the first game, straight away they were doing it, and everyone goes, "Oh, like, what's going on in Capella?" And look, and they've had a scheme for it, and they've got the players for it as well. And D'Antoni made a good comment where he said, "You look at Clint Capella. He had 14 points, 5 of 8." And everyone says, "Oh, what's happening with Clint Capella? That's shit." And then Looney had 14 points and 8 rebounds or something. And everyone's like, "Wow, what a night for Kevon Looney. Wow." And he said, it's all about expectations. And it's all about, you're expecting Capella to have monster nights. And to me, like, halfway through the series, I think I said it on the last episode, where they're like, they just need to run more pick and roll Clint Capella. I'm like, they don't fucking run Clint. No. They don't run it. They don't run it. He stands there and waits for James Harden to clear the floor, engage that one guy, and then engage his help, and he just tosses a lob, and that's how they use him. And there's been a lot of, like, Harden, to me, melted down a little bit in those last 2 games. At the end of that game, even the end of game 3 in Houston, so the third game of the series in Houston, they only had 2 shots from the field. And they only made 2 baskets in the last 7 minutes. Yeah. The rest were free throws, and they managed to hold on, take it to overtime, and win that overtime game. And to me, like, Harden looked gassed at the end of that. And then last year, Chris Paul had one game where it was like, oh, Chris Paul, 28 points or whatever. He single-handedly won the game. I think it was the game he got injured in. And then ends there and wastes. What's going on over there, mate? That's how unprofessional is that? And then, what was I talking about? Chris Paul. He kind of had that game in the game 6. Like, he had that game. Yet it still wasn't enough, because it feels like the Warriors' schemes and team play was out. Like, it was always 2 steps ahead of Houston's.
Clay's defense
was phenomenal. And
ridiculous.
Iggy, was ridiculous. And even Draymond's defense on Capella most of the series was ridiculous as well. And then Eric Gordon kind of went missing. I said here, Eric Gordon just hurls up flaming bags of dog shit. There, I said it. He fucking does, man. It just every time he shoots the ball, he had 56 shots from behind the arc. 5 out of his 56 shots were from inside 25 feet. So he never gets set up. Like, it's never like the ball swings, the ball moves here, someone kicks out to Gordon, he shoots a 3, and you're like, oh fuck, left Gordon open. Like, so he just like pulls up and shoots this flaming bag. I hope this goes in. Like, you're like, yeah, I want more of that. Sweet. I want to see more. Like, he was 3 of 11 from 26 feet, 3 of 13 from 27 feet, 3 of 11 from 28 feet, 3 of 7 from 29. Like that's like 45 shots that from beyond 26 feet. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's not good offense, man.
No, it's not. It's just, but that's the motto of Houston, isn't it? It's just throw up flaming bags of shit.
Flaming bags, man. Hurling up flaming bags. Even like Harden's ISO game, I don't like watching it, but I can appreciate he had a really good series in general. Like, you're not looking at that series going, wow, what the fuck happened there? Like, he melted down at the end of a couple of those games. I kind of understand why, because he did so much during the season, like so fucking much to get them to that position, like that crazy streak of games where he'd sub back into games just to get points to make sure he got 30 points a night. Like, and I'm like, dude, like, that's the kind of thing where
that ruins your postseason because you're so gassed.
The Warriors go, Steph got MVP, and I think he averaged like 28 points, but playing 32 minutes a night, like sitting fourth quarters. I think he sat like 40 fourth quarters the year he won MVP, because in the playoffs, it comes to the playoffs and you got more energy, and he looks fucking gassed as well, man. Even in this Portland game this morning, he looked gassed and he was pretty poor, but it was was
it still shooting 8 of 14 or 9 of 15?
Yeah, which, but he just, I watch this and I go, how much time really do these guys get to recover? You know what I mean? Like, there really is no time to recover. Like, poor old fucking Portland have to go Denver to the Bay in a day and a half and then play. And you're just like, oh, that's fucking unlucky. What a shit handicap for the underdog to just be like, okay, we just finished this 7-game series. We've now got to go over here and play in a day and a half turnaround. It's like, and we're playing like a team that's 2 tiers above us. Like fuck, you're like, shit, man. Like, it's almost like they should have a week in between these series, but you can't. You can't do that.
You're extending basketball into 365-day a year run.
And I look at that and I just go, man, it sucks that sometimes these teams run out of gas.
Yeah, and that was Denver. Denver ran out of gas.
Jokic was just struggling at the end of that series. Yeah. He was shooting the ball and was just grazing the front rim, and you're just like, you're cooked, son. Like, and you got to factor that into it, man. You can't, like, Durant, he got injured basically because he was playing 45 minutes a night. We haven't talked about that. Like, I think he's done for the season. It didn't look good. Like I said to you, Achilles straight away. And then it was like, oh, no, it's just a calf. But the Warriors play cat and, like, their media team play cat and mouse with
it's psychological. Shit. They know if Portland think that KD's coming back, it's kind of like in the back of their mind, they can't go in for the kill. But now that they know, or if they don't know, they're just like, oh, what do we do? It's all in their heads. The only person I feel like, the only 2 people that have not looked gassed is Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons.
Simmons just never looks flustered or phased at all. I don't know what it is. Maybe like it's.
He plays 42 minutes a night, yet no worries.
Yeah, and he always looks engaged. He looks, really, really good. I don't know what it is.
Fastest man in the NBA.
Yeah.
Yes. Fastest.
Is that
clocked.
where they measure like the GPS distance
on
runs?
court? Yeah, on court.
So the speed he was moving at,
yes,
the fastest.
on court.
Yeah, he's pretty quick dude.
19.7 miles an hour.
But that Rocket series, man, I'm so glad it's over. It was taxing, man.
It was good to watch the fact that, Chris Paul and James Harden put up big numbers in Game 6 and still lost.
And after, like while you're in the heat of watching these games, you're watching them, you're getting the shits at watching their antics and shit. Afterwards, like, now that they've won and they've gone through, I'm just like, oh, don't be too hard on them, man. Don't be too hard on James Harden and Chris Paul. But while you're in the heat of it, man, trying to watch that shit, it's like, fuck, can you just stop?
Yeah.
Every single play, any chance to go down and get a foul, Chris Paul will just throw himself on the ground. Even like loose balls. Like, there was one sort of near the end in Game 6 where Curry they both went up to get a loose ball, But Chris Paul managed to just get there first. And then instead of like batting the ball away and coming down, he like intentionally turns himself, bumps into Curry and goes down, and just like, oh, come on, man. Like, we don't need to fucking do this shit.
Yeah.
And I think it takes it out of the team that you can't just keep relying on this sort of stuff. Like, you've got to, at some stage, like even Harden, like in game, the game that Durant got injured, like he tried a little sneaky trip on Draymond, and I was like, come on, bro. Like, there's no need for that. Tried it again in game 6 as well.
Yeah.
There was one where he drove to the basket. Dre was trying to close down on Tucker. He gave him a little sneaky trip. And I'm like, you can't. There's bad karma, man. You can't do that sort of shit and win. Like, that's, I think, it's not people. It's not style. It's not offense. It's not even defense to me that's going to get the Rockets through. It's just putting all that cheap shit in the bag and just going, you know what? We're over the cheap shit. We're going to fucking stare you down, and we're going to beat you mano on the court right here, right now, and be better. Where if, like, that's what the Clippers did. Like, the Clippers was like, we'll goon ya and fucking take it. Like, the refs are letting us goon ya, sweet. Whereas the Rockets were like, oh, try some sneaky shit here and there. Ooh, the sneaky shit came off, and now we're going to whinge about the refs. And you're like, dude, fuck, man. Like, do we need this shit in the NBA? Like, it makes it hard to watch. And then, obviously, Curry coming up big in that second half. No points in the first half. How shit do you have to feel about if you're the Rockets? For him to have no points, in playing the perfect, everything is going perfectly, except the Warriors were kind of still in it at halftime. Clay, crazy first half. And then Curry, I think D'Antoni said, you know, I was worried that he had no points. I'm like, he's going to fucking go off. He's going to fucking go off at the end of this game like Steph Curry, you know? And what they did was just run that same action, that same screen and roll with Draymond. And it's those moments where, all right, like we saw it with the Cavs where you knew last year, it's just like, we just run this action with J.R. Smith. It breaks down every time. Like, you run J.R. Smith into someone, you split it, and you run to the basket, and J.R. Smith's standing there going, fuck, where did he go for 3 seconds? It's the same with Harden. Like, Harden, you could see him picking, like, systematically picking him out and just going, all right, as soon as Harden turns that way, I know to make that quick cut, and I'm there. Kevon Looney gets the dunk. And you're like, every time, like, I went back and watched it, and I'm like, every time it's Harden just looks away for 3 seconds, they systematically pick him out, and someone goes to the basket and scores a bucket. And I think they had a stretch down the end of game 6 where nobody could hit anything. It was like 95 all or something like that. Nobody could hit anything. Suddenly they run that pick and roll, and it's Capella who has to step up, and Harden leaves Looney, and Looney goes in. Biggest balls bucket of the night. He had to go up between Capella and Harden and lay the ball in. Like, that's two of the best, or Capella's like one of the best shot blockers in the league. Like, you got to have some balls to go, one dribble, put it up and lay the ball in to, to go ahead. And then, Steph Curry hitting some shots. Did you think those shots were a bit chalky down the end of that game?
A little bit, but hey, he's a chalky shooter.
He's one of the greatest of all time. No shot's a bad shot. This is what I say why I say that about Gordon. I'm like, you're right. Like, those are bad shots, man. They're not good shots. For Curry, I'm like, from 30 feet, that's a bad shot lasts 2 possessions, because you're like, oh, he'll do something smart on the next possession. Yeah. Like, that's a bad shot, doesn't last 5 shots deep. Suddenly you're 0 of 27, losing a game in the conference finals last year, just hurling up flaming bags. But I still think it was a team effort from the Warriors, man. And Bogut obviously started this game. We should tie it back. We should actually talk about Bogut, the main reason why we're on this topic. I thought he looked pretty doo-doo, man. He's pretty unplayable. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be brutally honest. In any series beyond this Portland series, I don't see him getting any minutes against the Bucks or the Raptors, because he's so slow, man. He's a step slow.
Gasol is very slow too.
I know, but
you could almost see him
passing though, man. A couple of mad dimes in this series. Yeah. I'm just going to check how many assists he ended up having. 1. And that was that delicious dime to Draymond really early on in that game. It was a sweet, like, he faked a cut and he slipped, and then he played it like through the lane, this little sweet little dish like that. But I can't see how he's playable for the rest of the season, to be honest.
He will play 8 minutes a night.
I don't even think it's that.
I think he matches up against Gasol, but that's about it. Doesn't match up against Ibaka. Doesn't match up. Kanter maybe, because Kanter's kind of injured. But as soon as he gets...
even Cantor's play around the rim is not shit. Like, it's not disgustingly shit where you're like, yeah, you have that. Like Monday night where I'm like, yeah, just shoot that three, mate. It's all good. No worries. And I think he's still a step slow with like his arms, man. Like he had so many blocks in that NBL, but he's still a step slow. And I'm kind of looking at it just going, oh, like it's hard to watch. But at the same time, man, I'm still just like, fuck it. I don't care. I love him. I want you. Like, just try your best.
Wave that towel.
And that was the other thing I was thinking about on the way over here. Like, Houston's team never had, you know what? I fucking trust you. I put you in this position. I trust you. Here you go. Have a crack. Oh, you missed. Don't worry. You get the next one. You have a crack. Like, Houston don't have that. Houston have, it's Shumpert, flaming bag, misses, and you're just like, why did you take that shot? That's fucking terrible. Like, stop it. No, you're not taking any more shots. Give me the ball. I'm taking that. Whereas Iggy, so many times, like, you just drive and then just, who am I looking for? Jerebko? There you go. Hits a three. And then everyone's like, fucking Jerebko. Sweet.
Yeah.
And it's the difference between these two teams that I trust this guy to make a shot, you know, because he's my bro and it's right or die with this guy.
Yeah.
It might be Quinn Cook or it might be Jerebko or Jordan Bell, but they still, like, fucking take that shot. Whereas I don't feel like Houston's not that team.
No.
Houston's like Chris Paul will run over and go, no, give me that. Fucking don't give him any more shots. And you're like, bro.
How did they give Chris Paul the max?
I don't know. It was like a sign and trade type thing though, wasn't it? What was this? It was a trade and opt out and re-sign or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, they traded his deal and then re-signed him for the max, or they partially guaranteed, internally guaranteed him that, yes, you're coming here, we'll sign you to the max next year. I don't know if that's a good move, man. It's an unshiftable...
He's got 4 years left.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if that was a good move. It's an unshiftable contract. Like, I don't
no one
think
can take that contract. Actually, probably a tanking team could for picks.
Oh, it's a salary dump situation, though. Like, it's not...
It's like a Paul Gasol salary dump.
Like when they dumped like Mozgov and Melo, and
Yeah.
Atlanta took on shit money just to get Melo. The level, like last year, felt like the Rockets were a better team, but last year the level of shitehawk behavior was way less, man. It felt like the more the Rockets went down a hole in this series, the more just shit you had to go through. Him flopping, James Harden, like Harden with this fucking 8 o'clock fucking legs out thing, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we just going, that's selling the contact. How good's that? People should be running out on the court and just being like, fucking no. Stop that. No, don't blow I'm taking that whistle. You're not fucking blowing the whistle for that. Stop it. Like, people should be saying that, man. It's fucking gross. And then you get guys like Livingston who land on guys and you can't even get a call. And Durant, like heaps of times Durant just lands on guys, kind of goes, fuck, and just runs up court. Like, these guys throw himself on the floor, whinge. I think, like, Draymond touched him on the back of the head, like, a little bit. Standing there, like... And you're like, dude, just play the fucking game. Like, I think that's the difference between these two teams is, dude, just play the fucking game. Like, get on with it.
No, it's definitely European football.
It's Steph Curry, I think.
It is.
It was kind of a dice roll. House money, they had 2 games left. And he just went nuts in that final, what you expect James Harden to do at the end of those games. I think he did at the end of game 4, hit a dagger. It was a pretty good dagger. The Curry just kind of, it wasn't just one shot. It was like 4 or 5 to just, it was like, and then like slit their throats, man. It was crazy. But yeah, let's move on. Enough of
that. Should we wrap this up?
Rubbing myself. What other? Should we talk about the Bucks? Did we wrap that series?
We wrapped the Bucks. We didn't talk about obviously Denver and Portland, which was a series of so very tired.
That was like 2 cars running out of fuel at the end of a fucking NASCAR or something, and then it's like both cars just like slowly rolling to the finish line, and then Portland was like, there. Portland win. That was so gassed, man. Both of those teams were just fried.
Game 7 were fried.
Damian Lillard played terrible in that last game. CJ just had some juice in him, man. CJ, I'll see you again in a couple of weeks.
Ran into a brick wall for this series, though, because I think Golden State's going to take them in 5.
Yeah. I think the Warriors, Clay and Iggy's probably the best duo to guard the backcourt. And then they might get some love out of Cantor. I think that's probably your only option, really, is hope that Damian Lillard can... He has been shooting the ball all right. Hope Lillard can catch fire, and then
Chalky.
that's kind of it, man. I don't know how Portland made it there.
No.
It's kind of like, how did you get here? What the hell? Like,
Yeah, but
why
they're
are
up
you here?
against pretty much flaming bags of doo-doo.
Yeah, OKC kind of just melted down, unraveled. Paul George basically with no arms in the series.
Yeah, and then Denver.
And then Denver, who, I don't know how they made it past Spurs, really. Like,
you can't play 14 games on the way to a conference final. They were never going to make the conference final.
is that Portland?
No, Denver.
Denver, yeah.
You just can't go a 7-game series and then a 7-game series. It's just not possible.
With a guy like Jokic, too, who is known as kind of Euro tubby, if that makes sense. Like,
he's still a phenomenal player.
Euro gas, mad player, but it's a pick your moments type thing. Like, you can't have that guy as a superstar in your team. Like Embiid even looks more fit than him to me.
Yeah.
Embiid probably doesn't have the passing that Jokic does, but he was just like pudding on the court, man. Like just like ambling. Did you see that? Like he ambled down the court and then like pump faked and laid the ball. And it was like slow motion. It was like put it in, and you're just like, how are you? How did you not defend that for starters, Portland? Like what the fuck's going on? But I don't know, man. I don't know. It would have been nice to play Denver. But traveling to Denver would have sucked.
Yeah.
Into altitude.
Tough gig.
So yeah, any more? Should we say anything else about that Portland-Denver series?
Not really.
No,
it is what
you
it
don't
is.
want to say no more.
Say no more.
Say?
It was flaming bags of dog shit as a series. Jamal Murray catching fire, then not catching fire.
Yeah.
Jokic catching fire, then not catching fire. Whole bunch of people fouling out. Torrey Craig doing some stuff.
Yeah. Gary Harris.
Colin.
Gary Harris had a decent series.
Yeah, they all had decent series. Just like you said, the end of it was the NASCAR race where they both ran out of fuel and were just
and just came to the end, and it's like Portland's ahead by 3 centimeters. They win. Yeah.
It's pretty much it.
CJ McCollum just coming up. CJ is even like we talked about it all year, where CJ is like, oh, CJ for a month, sweet, and then 6 months later you're like, oh, CJ's back for a month, sweet, nice work. And I don't think they got after losing Nurkic, man. But we should probably give credit to Portland because at the start of the season, we kind of went, it's fucking ride or die. It's fucking roll the dice. This could either go one way or the other.
Yeah, I think that regular season, you can thank Nurkic for that. Postseason, you can thank some good Lillard antics and McCollum turning up. And some decent depth. I mean, Seth Curry.
Yeah, not ultra dependable, but you
No.
can go, hey, Seth, yeah, sure. Put up some shots, nice.
Yeah.
And they're not terrible shots. You're not looking at Seth Curry going, 32 feet, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're not chalky. At least they're somewhat wound
But I
up.
find the Warriors play better against these teams.
Because they're essentially the same team.
Yeah. Like, I see you. I know exactly how you play. You play how we play. Sweet.
We just play better.
Yeah, I think the Spurs are kind of like that. They did that to the Spurs last year. And then it's these other teams that have these weird things like Houston have that.
Or the Bucks.
Horizontal. The Bucks will be very interesting. I want to see Draymond versus Giannis. That'll be really interesting. Draymond versus Kawhi will be interesting if it's the Raptors. But I don't know, man. For me, Portland, like, ooh, how did you get here? What the fuck, man? Where did you come from?
When you look at the West, it's stacked, but it's not actually that stacked. The East was much more interesting.
The East was really interesting. It was. Except the Pacers losing Oladipo, and it was just like, that sucks.
Yeah, you're kind of out. But then the Celtics...
And then they gave, the Celtics like a fake 4-0. You know what I mean? Like, the Celtics was just like, 4-0. And then what do they do in the next round?
4-1.
And then it's like the Bucks are just like, hey, we're a real team. Yeah. Come play against us. They destroyed them, man. That's huge for the Celtics, dude.
Well, we're going to wrap Uncle Doodoo's team in a minute.
Yeah.
Probably sometime this week, as well as the big Philly wrap for the year.
Yeah. We'll go deep since your affiliation and love with Philly. Affiliation.
Yes, we will go very deep. And then we'll be back to wrap up the conference finals. And do some over-unders, and then that will be...
Yeah, actually, we'll go the over-under before we do the over-under for next year, for this year, next year. You know what I mean? Yeah. We'll revisit that at the end of the season, in the off-season.
Sure.
Before we start next season, if that makes sense.
Indeed.
I was thinking about that today, yeah.
Indeed.
What else? We got Patty Mills. I'll drop that probably on the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got that sitting there lined up. It was going to be dropping tomorrow, but we'll drop it on the weekend.
Drop it on the weekend. Drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot.
All right, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. The playoffs, man, I'm just... After that Houston series, watching this Portland series is going to just be like... I'm going to watch basketball again. This is going to be good.
4-zip.
4-0, you reckon? I think a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah.
They just sneak one. Because the free throws to that, like, okay, we'll just quickly just go. It was at one stage, it was like 21-2 free throws. I'm going, guys, come on, man. Like, come on. We don't need to do this. Fuck.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They got to take that game because they know the Raptors are going to get swept. So
you reckon the Raptors are going to get swept,
Yeah.
eh? Whew. I think it's going to be a tough series. No?
You don't go to 7 games against Philly and then coming back up against a team that's dropped 1 in the postseason.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Who do they have to guard Giannis as well?
No.
Kawhi. That's kind of it. And then anyone else? Ibaka maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Siakam maybe?
No, Siakam isn't really a defensive player, to be honest with you.
They got no one to guard him.
Yep.
And then if you're going to stick Kawhi on him...
Then you've pretty much
Then
got
you
all the
just
shooters
like-
just having a field day.
Yeah, you got... Fuck, Kawhi's going to have to defend these guys and
Middleton?
score all the points.
Yeah.
Middleton, yeah, hope he plays well. That starts tomorrow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep an eye on that. Watch some of that tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. It's good.
Nice. All right, guys.
All right,
been
take
an
it
hour.
easy, peeps.
Peace out.